First, we want to offer our heartfelt appreciations and gratitude for all the thoughts and prayers and blessings and condolences we've received in the past week for Malati Devidasi, our god sister who has departed 1 week ago from this world here in this ashram. And we appreciate the outpour of support, and everyone's very concerned. How are we all doing? And we're all fine and grieving in our own ways. And it's all been very sobering for us. And but we also saw what a glorious departure she had and what a glorious life she had. So can't be too sad. She left very gracefully during Sankirtan, and the blessing of all the Vaishnavas, and so loved by everyone around the whole world. And this Sunday will be her festival here in Gupta Govardhan. We invite everyone to join us locally as well as online. We will have a Zoom program. And if anyone wants to speak, they can just send a message to the admin. We'd love to hear from you. And we also just found out that it will be the appearance day also on Sunday of Srila Bhakti Sevan Hrishikesh Maharaj. So somehow we have to honor both Malati and Hrishikesh Maharaj, who will be online for Malati. He'll be anyway with us. He's in India right now. He'll join us online and we will celebrate him as well. And today is the appearance day of Srila Bhakti Kusham Ashram Maharaj. And I wanted to call him, but he is in the air at the moment, flying to India from Mexico. So we won't get to call him today. We can try tomorrow or another day. He is one of our beloved acharyas of the Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, and one of those super servitor senior Vaishnavas that Goswami Maharaj calls the trifecta. This is Latin. Three, fecta, perfect. 3 times perfect. And he says that about this particular type of Vaishnava we have that's had who are Prabhupada disciples, Srilesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada disciples that came to Srila Sridhar Maharaj, maybe some just for Shiksha, some for Diksha, and then served Srila Govinda Maharaj. So they've had 3 of the greats. So Ashram Maharaj is one of them. He's the Acharya of our Mexican mission. And his family immigrated into Mexico from Spain. So he's of Spanish descent, born in Monterrey, Mexico. And some of us had the fortune of going to his birthplace with Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev. Goswami Maharaj visited Mexico several times on his world tours. And we visited Ashram Maharaj's birthplace, Monterrey, Mexico. Ashram Maharaj always received our Gurudev just in so much, like such a dignified reception, and always provided, because he had some connections. Lakshmi Rani had connections with the federal government, so the federal government would supply their security for Srila Gurudev when he would go there. And it was like always over the top, this security caravan would follow Gurudev everywhere, and every time he'd make a turn, like a right or a left turn on the streets, the federal police would drive in front of him and open their doors and do this particular type of I don't know, some kind of security system. When someone turns, they block any kind of traffic or danger. And one of those federal security officers took initiation from Srila Gurudev. He was just witnessing this merciful manifestation of Gurudev and his visit and the Sankirtan and the Prasadam, and he just requested for initiation. So we have one of those federal security police officers as a Vaishnava in Mexico. And Ashram Maharaj, so great, so loved by all the devotees. And I believe he was born in 1951, Monterrey, Mexico. He took initiation from Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami in 1974. And his brahmachari name was Brajendra Kumar. Brajendra Kumar Brahmachari Prabhu. And then after the disappearance of Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he came to Srila Sridhar Maharaj and took sannyas in 1984. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj gave him the name Bhakti Kusham Ashram Maharaj. Kusham, like Kusham Sarovar. And he served Srila Sridhar Maharaj. He would spend 6 months of his year every year in Navadvip serving Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Srila Gurudev. And he served Srila Gurudev during his, up until Gurudev's final pastimes, where Ashram Maharaj was serving Gurudev like a nurse. He was one of the kokas. Koka in Bengali means like boy servant. We had a team, there were like 20 of us on Gurudev's veranda serving in different ways, and Ashram Maharaj was one of these like nurse servitors of Srila Gurudev. And even though he had like 9 ashrams, he was responsible for 9 ashrams all over Mexico, he still made time to come and serve Gurudev. Ashram Maharaj is a very obviously like a saint. He looks like a saint, he acts like a saint. Everything about him is saintly. And whenever we're together, Ashram Maharaj, you'd find him in the kitchen washing the pots. And when he would come to Navadvip, he'd be in the Goshala cleaning the Goshala. And there was one particular bull in our Goshala in Navadvip that like everyone was terrified of. Just this gigantic bull who once threw Madhusudan Maharaj over a wall, and all the cowmen were he was just massive and a little fierce, and everyone was afraid of him, but that bull loved Ashram Maharaj. And Ashram Maharaj was the only one who could go near him and wash him and feed him and like hug him. It says something there. And Ashram Maharaj, just very merciful, patient personality. He's very very warm, very loving. I remember once, just this small little thing happened once where one of the Mexican devotees, Lakshmi Rani Didi, she needed some like procedure in the Calcutta hospital, and we went with her, Ashram Maharaj, myself, and her. We went to the hospital, and she was going in for a surgery, and she took his uttariya, and wrapped it around her head like, okay, now I'm safe. She just like took his cloth and was like scared what was going to happen in the surgery room, but with his cloth she felt very safe and went in. And he's waiting for her very patiently. He was like, served everybody with so much love and affection and patience. And sometimes, funny thing, some of the ladies would be like, wait a minute, how can this be allowed? He's a little too handsome to be a sannyasi. Like, how is this possible? And he'd always be like, no. A little embarrassed because he still is. He's like, I don't know, 1951, how old is he now? Mathematicians? 75. Still handsome. But when he was younger, everyone was like, isn't he a little too handsome to be a sannyasi? That also was an issue we heard from Goswami Maharaj, Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj. Saraswati Thakur was slightly concerned because he was so handsome. Like, what? Is he going to cause some disturbance with the ladies section? But sometimes that happens. Gurudev also was very good looking, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj wrote in his pranam mantra, Bhaktyan Vitam Sundaram. Like, he's all these things. He has the blessings of all his gurus. He has like understanding of the revealed scriptures and the inconceivable things about the scriptures, and so much glorification there, and like it's mentioned by Srila Sridhar Maharaj, who composed his pranam, that like, and he's Sundaram, he's beautiful, he's good looking. And Gurudev was always like, so Vaishnavas are the most beautiful of all, auspicious beauty, something extraordinary. Also, the Braja Gopis are described as, they're not just like any ordinary beauty, but auspicious beauty. So Ashram Maharaj, very beautiful, very pious. If you ever see him in Mexico, you'll see like, he's like the local priest of the neighborhood, and all the kids like to come and play football with him, play basketball with him, and he'll be out there with all the kids. They come like knock on the door, like, let's play ball. He goes out and plays ball. But he's one of our great acharyas of the Chaitanya Saraswat Ma. Today is the day he appeared in this world. We're celebrating him. He's on his way to Navadip Dham Parikrama, and honoring him, and yeah. I'll show his picture. He's on our wall, on our tribute wall, and also here's a nice picture of him. Srila Bhakti Kusham Ashram Maharaj Ki Jai. So, Devaduti Prabhu, one of my dear brothers, he knows I love this particular verse. It's Lord Krishna speaking. That verse is in the Bhagavatam. It's also in the Prapana Jivanamritam, and also in Sermons Volume 2 by Srila Bhakti Rakhak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj. And it's always some new light. The Bhagavatam has one particular translation. It's Lord Krishna speaking. The Prapana Jivanamritam, in words of nectar from the Supreme Lord, has another type of translation. But in Sermons Volume 2, Srila Maharaj gives a very unique, expansive, comprehensive translation, kind of like with his own original input and feedback, and it's just something that I'm very much appreciating. I will read that right now. It's just an excerpt from Sermons, Volume 2. Jāta-śraddho mat-kathāsu nirvana sarva karmashu veda dukkat makan kaman parityagepya anishvaraha. This is the Bhagavatam verse from 11th canto, 11:20-27. For one who has had the chance to acquire a taste and become attracted to talks of me, this is Krishna speaking, my activity and my movement, no other temptation can any longer hold him under its power. He becomes indifferent to all other activity. The outcome is that he can understand within that all other things bear some unpleasant reaction. Yet, although he can conceive that they are all pain-producing, he is helpless to immediately free himself from their clutches. The debt is already incurred, and his debtors won't allow him to escape. I am in the midst of so many acquisitions. It is not very easy to leave them at once by my sweet will. Previously, I consciously incurred some obligations, and I can't abruptly cut off their connection. They won't let me be free. So in Prapana Jivanamritam, it's described like, for one who's received the seed of devotion, who's selfless, penitent like a little bit shameful, like, oh, I'm just, I can't free myself from the world and all of its implications and mundane consciousness and the stranglehold it has on me, that the evilness of mundane exploitive consciousness has its stranglehold on me, and I can't get free from it just yet. But I know better, and I'm trying to go on, the best I can with some faith, giving myself to all the practices and principles of devotion and this kind of mood of Vaishnava. Srila Sridhar Maharaj is describing it in this way, that I've acquired some sort of taste and attraction for Krishna, and he's this earnestly aspiring devotee described. He's indifferent to all other things, but he can understand, even though he can understand all these things that enslave him, are pain-producing, but not quite able to overcome them. He's helpless to immediately free himself from their clutches. So this stage of devotion, Srila Sridhar Maharaj is describing. Tato bhajeta mamprita śraddha lordrida nishchaya justa manascha tan kaman dhukodhara comes cha gharyan. But the śraddha, or pure attraction, he has acquired for me is of eternal nature. It cannot be subdued or cut off by any mundane or ordinary attempt. Despite undergoing so much suffering, he goes on remembering me. His thinking, aspiration, and earnestness is for me. And the more he's compelled to suffer from the pressure of the environment, a firmness in me becomes more and more sure, and finally, invulnerable. And by standing the test of all these trials, he will stand and grow beyond the jurisdiction of these mundane forces. The more pressure comes from outside, the more firmness he feels in the necessity of my help to him. So, this is like, a stage of revelation and revolution going on within the heart of a devotee. That I was discussing this the other day, how Srila Sridhar Maharaj says, the more the pressure comes from outside, and we will all feel this, we're all being purified, and we're being tested, and we're trying to progress with pressure coming from the outside, from the world, from Maya, from our karma. It's coming from the outside. The more pressure that's coming from the outside, the more invulnerable we become from the inside. So this pressure is a good thing, and it's purifying us. But sometimes we may think, am I being crushed? Am I going to survive this? Am I going to die? Or am I going to become invulnerable? Am I going to become strong and invincible? At that time, he turns his back to all the pains of the world, and he keeps me in front. Krishna is speaking, capital M. He keeps me in front. He begins to move onward. Whatever happens to me, I can't complain. This is a quote from the devotee who is on this, pursuing this, the grace of the Lord. Whatever happens to me, I can't complain. It is my master's jurisdiction that what he sees fit for me to undergo these trials or not. But I won't leave my new ideal, I can't. Whatever may come, it may happen, never mind. This is the mood of the devotee, like, whatever happens, okay. It's my master, my Lord is allowing all these things to come to me, then let it come. Still, this earnestly aspiring devotee abuses himself. What have I done? What have I done? It is rather justice that I should be tormented and troubled in such a way. It is not wrong. Really, just dealings have come to be exercised over me. Why should I have committed this wrong? I entered this wrong alliance, entered into the tribe of gundas for exploitation. Gundas means like thieves in Bengali, like mafia. He's saying, like, this earnestly aspiring devotee being described is abusing himself, feeling some shame. Not like mundane, ordinary shame, but like, I'm a fallen soul. Whatever's coming, I have earned this by my own actions. Man is the architect of his own fortune. So this devotee is going on like, okay, whatever happens, let it come. I'll face it. So the reaction that is coming to me is well and good. He blames himself. He does not blame the environment for troubling him, but he sees a concentration camp within. He blames his own self, his own free will and fate. That becomes the nature of his temperament at that time. He does not look to place the fault on the shoulders of others, but he takes the whole burden, Yes, the environment is doing justice to me. The traitor, the ambitious, the oppressor of the environment is all coming from me. When he is in such consciousness, his bhakti yoga, or devotional engagement, becomes more and more intense. The intensity of his progress accelerates. Proktena bhakti yogena bhajato mam skardin mune kama hridaya nashyanti sarve mai hridishtite. So this is the same verse. It's all Srila Sridhar Maharaj is giving commentary on, like, piece by piece of this verse from Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 20. With accelerated motion, his intensity towards me grows. Then, by my appearance, Krishna says, all his internal and external discrepancies are gradually destroyed and evaporated. When by such an approach he reaches my domain, or rather, I come down, extending my existence to his heart, then everything else disappears. So as this devotional mood and love and steadfastness comes to the heart of this earnestly aspiring devotee, the Lord gradually appears, comes down into the heart of this devotee. And by coming down into the heart, all inauspiciousness is evaporated and destroyed. All, everything else must go. Krishna comes and nothing else can remain. Vidyate hridaya grantis chidyante sarva samsaya kiyante chasya karmani mai drishtye kilatmani. Then, vidyate hridaya granti, all the ties and entanglements, corners and angles vanish. Crookedness vanishes. He finds himself in the midst of a straight, plain, graphic, spacious, and all-embracing temperament. His atmosphere changes. All the ties of so many attractions to various achievements are at once dissolved. They have no necessity in this land. Hridayena bhyan nujanto. Internal approval comes to assure that you have arrived in your own land. Chidyante sarva samsaya. There is no room for any doubt. You find that all your hankerings are more than fulfilled here in this divine consciousness and the divine abode of Lord Krishna. Quote, I was searching, my whole body was searching. In Vaishnava Padavali, the anthology of Vaishnava songs, there is an expression, Prati anga lage kade, prati anga more. In the acme of divinity, Madhura Rasa, where Srimati Radharani is Shakti, the divine potency of the Lord, she says, my every limb is crying for the respective limb of my Lord. Not only myself, but every part of my body earnestly aspires for the corresponding part of my masters. Chidyante sarva samsaya. Every part bears witness. Yes, we have reached the destination we are striving for, and our full-fledged satisfaction has achieved. This is my soil, this is my home. Every atom of the body will say it. No trace of any doubt will be found, for there is no longer any room for that. But every atom will find its fulfillment. This is my home, this is my home. I am in home comfort, I find. One definition of Govinda, one, he's the lover of the cows, but another, he's the one who can fulfill every atom of hankering for every single atom. He can fulfill everyone's heart, all the senses, all the need for fulfillment within everyone. So this is being described, that by the Lord revealing in the heart all these, all darkness and inauspiciousness and doubts and ties of the heart, everything is destroyed and evaporated, then this soul, this devotee is finding, like, I'm in the midst of this divine destination, which is Goloka Vrindavan, and finding full-fledged satisfaction, internal approval, seeing that, like, this is my real home and this is my actual innate soil, feeling that in a very profound way. This is my home. I am in home comfort. Kiyante chashikarmani, the Lord says about his devotee, and the force of reaction won't come to trouble him any longer, to drag him down or attract him backwards. That too is severed. No more danger. He's now, like, safe. Mai drishtye kilatmani. I am the fullest of the full perfection. He will be able to trace my friendship. This is Krishna speaking. Krishna is saying, I am the fullest of the full perfection, and he will be able to trace my friendship. This should be the course of our life, our cherished goal. Srimad Bhagavatam tells us this: home, sweet, sweet home. You are a child of that soil. In one word, that is the goal. Why is it that the highest goal? Why is that the highest goal? Because that's your home. Sarupe sabara hoy goloka te stiti. This one word home is sufficient to attract you. You are wandering in a foreign land, but here is your home. You'll get home comfort here, and you won't be able to deny that. So back to God, back to home, back to Godhead. Jai Srila Param Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj. Beautiful translation and commentary on this Bhagavatam verse where Lord Krishna is speaking. And this is for our upliftment and encouragement. Although seemingly so many prerequisites are there, like for one who has received the seed of devotion, who's selfless, penitent, denouncing their inability to abandon mundane enjoyment despite realizing it to be suffering. You know, something is there already. This is being described, but it's the sincerity, the faith, the dedication in the heart of this type of devotee that's being highlighted, like going on despite being fallen. Going on with faith, with perseverance, with surrender and sincerity. The Lord is just waiting to see that we are, you know, despite all our shortcomings, we are still trying, we're still pursuing the Lord's grace as receivers. Because this is a descending path. We cannot ascend, we cannot fight for this. We have to be good receivers. So, such a hopeful verse. You can all read the different varieties of translations from Bhagavatam and Prapana Jivanamritam and Words of Nectar from the Supreme Lord and Sermons of the Guardian of Devotion, Volume 2. So that's what we were reading from today, and we can thank Devadyuti Prabhu in Australia for sending this some time ago. And so hopeful and encouraging.